bring in criminal defense attorney and federal litigator Vik Bajaj. Vik, great to have you on the show. What is the significance of this attempted felony murder charge?
Well, the significance is not only the criminal liability and exposure that the defendant suspect in this case is going to be facing, but most importantly for everyone to understand, this is really a practical application of the 10th Amendment dual sovereignty issue. What that means is the federal jurisdiction has the right to pursue their charges, but at the same time, the state of Florida in this case also has a similar right. As we know, Governor DeSantis, only 2 days after this shooting in September, initiated an executive order. Why would that happen? That happened because, as stated by the now Attorney General of Florida, the state of Florida was met with immediate resistance from the feds in this case. So the governor then decided to issue an order saying, hey, go ahead, the Florida Highway Patrol, all law enforcement, all systems go. Don't worry about the federal jurisdiction. Let's conduct our own investigation. So this is an example, a clear example of state sovereignty, federal sovereignty, which pits the 10th Amendment in clear and present danger and scrutiny here for all to watch.
So how does this case change when Donald Trump takes office and presumably Pam Bondi is in charge?
Well, Donald Trump obviously has a vested interest to make sure that this attempted assassination is fully investigated, as should the Department of Justice, both now and under the Trump administration after he's inaugurated. What will happen now is the Department of Justice will be cooperative with Florida. Those roadblocks that have been put up for ministerial and practical abstract reasons will be lowered, and this will allow for the continued cooperation of a state, in this case Florida, and the federal government the way it should have been from the start.
Meantime, rapper and music mogul Sean Diddy Combs was in court for a pre-trial hearing. These are typically boring, non-eventful things, but those in the courthouse described Diddy as astonishingly thinner and grayer than he was at his last appearance. And the judge said something interesting, Vic. He says he doesn't want any last-minute surprises before trial. What's a judge alluding to with a statement like that, Vic?
Well, this is a great example of state versus federal in comparison criminal charges and prosecutions. In states across our fine union, we have to understand that there's a discovery right, what we call a Brady right. And that Brady right requires state prosecutors to turn everything over that could be exculpatory or helpful to the defense immediately or within 30 days of trial. The Jenks Act, however, which applies to federal prosecutions, gives prosecutors a right to withhold substantial evidence unless and until that evidence and information becomes relevant. So practically what that means is the adage that we give amongst experienced defense attorneys is you're not going to know everything about every witness until that witness is called during a trial or a contested hearing. And at that point in time, the federal government, the Department of Justice, the United States Attorney's Office in this case, has a right to slap 200, 300, maybe thousands of pages of evidence regarding that witness just moments before they testify. So what the court is saying is, you know, I don't want that lack of efficiency. If this is going to go to trial, let's move it speedily, quickly, smoothly. Prosecutor, government, give everything you have to the defense. That's what the judge was alluding to when he says, hey, you know what? We don't want any surprises.
Yeah, those last-minute document dumps are never fun as an attorney because, you know, you have an obligation to do your best job to represent your client, and then you're like, I can't read that fast. It also stinks when it comes in overnight and you have to stay there all night because the partner tells you, you got to write a brief on this, try to get rid of this evidence. It's not fun, but it's the law. It's why people get paid a lot of money. Vik Bajaj, thank you for your time. Keep us posted on this and all the cases.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.